Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with the best DC comic books of 2018. So here's how I did it, and it was a lot of fun. I went all the way back to January, looked through all the titles that I got, and because I keep them in months until the end of the year. And I said, well, yeah, this is one that really affected me. This is one that really, and it can't be something I just liked, because that's too easy. It has to be something that I legitimately went, holy this is something you should be picking up. And these are the books. Some of them were a little controversial, but most of them I think you're gonna be okay with. And and here's something we all know what number one is. If you follow this channel, you know what I'm gonna put at number one. So I decided to do something a little different. I'm going 11 to 2, and then we'll talk about number one. Just for those who don't know the channel too well, I'm not gonna reveal it here yet. I do have 5 runner-ups, so by all means, without further ado and all that kind of stuff, let's get this party started. So, at number 16, the first runner-up is Batman, The Dark Prince Charming by Marina. Man, I'm telling you, this is a book you need to pick up. The story is great. There's a kidnapping. Joker and Harley kidnap this little kid, and this little kid's a really good character who, while watching Harley and Joker, I guess it's like the familiarity breeds contempt kind of thing, where she becomes less and less afraid of them and sees them more as the joke as they are. This is an amazing book. It looks beautiful. It's very well written. The only reason why it's not in the top 10 is it's a part 2. So it's not a complete story. You do need the first book, and that was released last year. However, I do believe that they're putting out a volume with both of them together, and by themselves, they were only $12.95, so they're inexpensive, and I can highly recommend this story. Number 15, Damage. Okay, so here's a problem with DC. They really do have a lot of good books. So that means some of the ones you really like are going to not make it to the top 10, and that's where Damage comes in. Plus, I had to put it here because of 2 things. One, while it is so entertaining, in the beginning, it's kind of a monster of the week, but using DC characters. Like, oh, this week I'm going to show you I could beat Suicide Squad. This week I'm going to show you I could beat Justice League. And there was a lull in the middle. Still very entertaining. I like the art. I'm very sad to see damn near all of the New Age of Heroes being canceled. And I really do think this has potential, and this should last. We'll see how it goes, I guess, if Damage will pop up again. But as it stands, get the trades, get the individual issues. Damage is definitely one to look out for. Number 14, Justice League, Legion of Doom. Now, this is the story that leads right on into the Batman Who Laughed miniseries, and it is amazing. The villains are villainous. And you know what you don't get over at Marvel? Villains. Because they're like, hey, people like that villain. Let's make him into a hero. Here, you get the best of the best being the best, or the worst, I should say. And I've got to love the fact that Joker really turns the tables on Lex Luthor. Thank you very much. I kind of dig that. Mainly because he's such a pompous ass sometimes. I like it. And I think people downgrade the Joker's tactical mind. In this, Scott Snyder does not do that. You know, people just think crazy, but it's kind of like how you watch Dark Knight and he goes, do I look like a guy who has a plan? And then you realize that everything had to go perfect in order to get them where they were. That's what I like to see in the Joker. Number 13, Supergirl. I know, right? Okay, you know what? It was between this or Batgirl, really. And you know what? Pick up both of them, because they've both been improving. I think they actually canceled Batgirl. I may be wrong. Anyway, Supergirl, while Brian Michael Bendis is destroying Superman, Mark Andreyko's kicking all sorts of ass, making Supergirl a badass. And in this case, she is going off to find the conspiracy behind the destruction of Krypton. If you remember, Brian Michael Bendis changed the origin. But Mark Andreyko took that and just ran with it. And she is proving herself all kind of worthy. So this is not the previous issues of Supergirl, which kind of annoyed me. This is something I look forward to every time it comes out now. And like I've been saying about all these books, it's fun to read, and it's definitely something to look forward to every month. And for all intents and purposes for this list, the last runner-up at number 12 is Justice League Dark. I know that's going to tick off a lot of people that it didn't make the top 10, and in all honesty, it didn't make, it's not even number 11. But still, this is a good book. I enjoy this. Give me a chimpanzee with a Sherlock Holmes hat and a sword any day, and I will be okay. They did change magic in DC for this, but I kind of dig that. They even have a character that's like, hey, I'm going to change magic, and does so. It's very cool, very interesting story. It's not one that you can casually read, though, so that's part of the reason it didn't make it into the top 10. This is not an easily accessible book if you're not into this particular world, and I know these are very specific characters. It's almost like a Seven Soldiers, but with Wonder Woman in it. Or, as I said before, can we just call it Shadow Pact? It's awesome. It really is. Check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, and here we go at number 11. Teen Titans. Now, I'm going to put a little asterisk. Teen Titans, the new team. And I know that's something because I know I'm one of those people when I saw Lobo's daughter. Man, my eyes rolled around in my head. It was like bouncing around like Michael Flatley's nutsack. It's just not something I was expecting to enjoy. But this team, this storyline, ever since they introduced this team, has reminded me of the Wolfman Perez days. And those, in my opinion, are the best Teen Titan books out there. Yeah, I'm including Jeff Johns in that list. He falls behind, and I think he'll even agree with me. But this team right here is so much fun. It's so entertaining. And I'm talking no pretension whatsoever. It is just good, old-fashioned superheroing. And it, like I said, it brought me back to childhood. It brought me back to the days where I'm a brand new comic book collector, and these are the most awesome comic books that you could ever find. Number 10. Exit Stage Left, The Snagglepuss Chronicles. I got a couple of comments that didn't like the fact that I liked this book. Now, it took a while, though. I did like where it was going, and I said, oh my gosh, yeah, I got to check this out. I'm in for the ride here. And this is how you do allegories, Marvel Comics. This is how you do politics. First of all, it's a character that, you know what, everybody knew was gay. It's not Iceman where they're like, hey, now after 50 years, let's show. And this one has a mature look at it. This is not a stereotypical person. This is somebody who's actually trying to make a living in a world that doesn't particularly care for his kind. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, but this is an actual intelligent book dealing with the issues. And it goes through basically the struggle during the 50s, 60s, and 70s. During the McCarthy era, during Stonewall, the whole 9 yards. This is how you do allegories right, Marvel Comics. DC knows it. At number 9. The Terrifics. Man, you want to talk about a book that was all over the Spirit Awards in June? This is it. Man, I'm telling you, the story is tight. This is the Fantastic Four book that Marvel just isn't producing. Even now, when they're producing a Fantastic Four book. And I like the Fantastic Four book. I'm outside of the crowd on this particular issue. But Terrifics, you put them side by side. You read them, the Terrifics win. That's just the way it is, gang. And I would never have thought to put these characters together as a team. Metamorpho, Mr. Terrific, Phantom Girl. You got Plastic Man. Come on, that's an excellent team. Well written, doesn't insult the audience. So it's a smart book. It's a fun book. And it's just one of those I want to see where they're going. Heck, they've just introduced Tom Strong. This is a very good book, and I hope it doesn't get the axe like the rest of the New Age of Heroes have been getting. Number 8. Mira. Yeah, her. If you've seen the movie, you know her now. If you've been reading Aquaman, which if you've been watching this channel, you better damn sure well be. Come on, be honest. I got to tell you, this is such a fun series. It is so good. It sets up damn near everything. I mean, oh gosh, do I reveal everything here? Do I? No spoilers, no spoilers. It sets up the rest of the year, including what happens with Aquaman and the Throne, the Drowned Earth stuff. It definitely goes along with the revolution that Atlantis has. There's so much that happened in these titles. And a lot of it is, in all honesty, centered in Mira, Queen of Atlantis. And look at this freaking cover and tell me that just isn't a beautiful cover. I got to tell you, everything around Aquaman has been cool to me, and I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed this miniseries. Number 7. The Silencer. I know, at the beginning when this came out, my review was, it's kind of dull. I thought this book was boring. I did, but issue by issue, this dragged me in. It said, hey, England teen, come on in. This is a really cool story. You need to be reading this. And it got me, especially during the vacation issues. That, when she, you know, well, I know that Talia is going to be coming after me no matter what, and I have to go approach her. Holiday Road here. Holiday Road, whoa, 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 oh, oh. Anyway, yeah, it is just such a, I keep using this word, and I'm sorry, but I think we should keep using this word when it comes to comic books we like, and it is such fun. I am entertained by this. I'm very happy to see her on Arrow even, you know, because maybe that promotion will help this book, because I don't want these books to get canceled and they're dropping like flies. Anyway, Silencer is one of the better ones. Number 6. Batman and Wonder Woman, The Brave and the Bold. Where did this come from? Seriously, wow, this is good. And surprisingly enough, one of the very few mentions of Batman in this in this countdown, or Wonder Woman. Anyway, this is not a book that you're going to be reading easily. This is not something you can, you're going to have to pay attention. This is a very well-written, very interesting story that is just entrenched in Celtic mythology. Seriously, from page to page, and by God, each page looks beautiful. This is a beautifully drawn book. What to say about it? You just check it out. It's amazing. I have yet to find anybody who's read this book that just wasn't floored by it. Number 5. The Super Sons and Dynamite. This Hanna-Barbera DC Comics crossover is so amazing. It really is. Okay, first of off, got confession. I am a huge Blue Falcon and Dynamite fan. I was when I was a kid. I watched the cartoon religiously. So this is the one that I was most excited for. I love the Super Sons. Tomasi nails them. And I gotta tell you, the combination here is, as I say always, fun as hell. Not to mention, and I'm going to use this in a book I just said is fun, this will give you the feels, man. By the end of this, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe they went there. It is such an amazing book. This is one of those that while I was looking forward to it, it still came out of nowhere and knocked me down. That's how good this book was. I was watching for this book to be good, and it still amazed me with how good it was. Number 4. Deathstroke. Man, Christopher Priest is a great writer, isn't he? Seriously. In this book, he makes Deathstroke a badass. Well, Deathstroke is a badass, but he makes Deathstroke a badass. And in this particular one, we have a little fight between him and Batman over who's Robin's baby daddy. And it's just a lot of fun, and it's amazing. And not only this one, but the Arkham series that came right after this one is this story right here is an amazing story as well. Deathstroke is like that MVP player that doesn't have the huge big plays but delivers every time they get on the field. That's a sports ball reference for those that don't know sports ball. Anyway, he's just a really good book consistently. I don't think you're going to find too many weak issues of Deathstroke, especially this year. This year, it has been firing on all cylinders, and it definitely deserves the number 4 spot. Number 3. Hawkman. You knew it was going to show up. You knew it was going to show up in this list. If you paid attention to this channel, you knew it. And you know what? Robert Venditti, dude, just got to give. I love it when you get a great writer on a character that is so far not exploded, and you're getting the story you've always wanted. You may even not even known you've always wanted this story from them. In this case, we're getting Hawkman discovering his past lives and discovering really who he actually is. And yes, I agree. Number 7, we get his origin, his real origin, and it, I think, should go forth. This is something that should not be retconned. It is such a fun story. I use that word again. It is a well-drawn, very well-written. Once again, Venditti, thumbs up. I can't recommend this book more. There's only a couple of books here that I would recommend more than Hawkman. And I'm talking literally 2 in all of 2018. That's how good this book is. And one of those is a miniseries. And it comes at number 2. Batman White Knight. Yes, I actually contemplated whether or not to put this on because half of this book was 2017. Half of this book was series, I mean, is 2018. So I was thinking, does it really count? I don't know, and I don't care. Batman White Knight is one of, if not the best Batman stories I've read in the last 10 years. And I've read a buttload of Batman stories in the last 10 years. This is amazing. You know what? This should be getting all of the accolades. It's an instant classic, in my opinion. It should be like right next to The Dark Knight, and I want to see its animated series. Really, I'd really do. But yeah, man, it tells a different side of the Joker. I remember when it first came out in the first announcements, I was like, oh, great. So here we go again. We're turning the villain into the hero. There was twists, there were turns, and it definitely deserves to be in the number 2, or in this case, I'm putting it at the number 1 because you know what my real number 1 is, and that is why I wanted to do it like that. Okay, that's why I wanted to do it like this, because if you follow this channel, you know exactly what it is. So, by all means, Batman White Knight is awesome. Let's get to talking about the real number 1. The number 1 best comic book from DC Comics is Aquaman. Yeah, you knew it was coming. I know you did. Let's talk about it. So much has happened in this title this year. He lost his throne. He became the Batman of Atlantis. This is such a great story, by the way. The new emperor became an evil sorcerer, and he had to team up with a whole bunch of other undersea heroes and villains to stop him. Of course, we had Mira coming out of her shell here. They brought Orm back from the great life that he's been having on land. And then, of course, it all culminated with Drowned Earth, which turned the entire planet into fish people. Yeah, you remember that? That is such a crazy story. I don't know if this is going to be on the list next year because it gave it to Kelly Sue DeConnick. But for 2018, hands down, there was no book that captured my imagination that made me excited like the kid collector I used to be than Aquaman. I am an Aquaman fan now. I'm not just of this book, but I am an Aquaman character fan. And as anybody who's seen the live streams after Christmas know, I have the poster right behind me for the movie. I've seen it 5 times. This book made me an Aquaman fan. Dan Abnett's run is just amazing. I recommend from issue 1 all the way up to issue 42, and this year especially has kicked all sorts of tail. And before I let you go here, I do have to just mention one big old Mr. Miracle size hole in the countdown. In the beginning of the year, my brother was a part of the channel, and he was reviewing Mr. Miracle. So I said, you know what, I'm going to wait until everything is collected, and then I'm going to read it, and guess what I still haven't gotten around to doing. I promise you it will be done because one of the shows that I'm bringing back is I Love Comics. What? But that's the name of the channel. That's where I got the name of the channel from, is I used to do a show called I Love Comics on this channel, and it was all about great stories and great moments in comic book history, personal moments. And yeah, so sorry about that. I cannot review nor can I place a book that I haven't read yet, and that's why I promise you I'm getting to it. Anyway, what did you think about the countdown? By all means, let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you like this video, you know the drill. Click like, share, of course, get word out about the channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't done it already. Hit that notification because that's what YouTube really cares about. And if you haven't done it already, please go on over to Patreon, drop $1 in the till, or wait one more day. I'm going to have that Ko-Fi up, and you could go there because I know Patreon is ticking a lot of people off, and I can't blame you. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that, and for everybody, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.